and gentlemen, how you doing? Corey Boss, we're here with Football Kentucky DBA, and today's special guest is head coach of Ballard, Mr. Adrian Morton. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us on.
No problem. So I want to walk through last night's game first before we talk about the previous games prior. Y'all ended up beating Eastern, and y'all beat them 34-0, correct?
Yes, sir.
At what point in the game did you realize it was time to put the younger kids in that don't really get the experience, especially seniors that don't get to play?
We got to the fourth quarter, and we were moving the ball, and it was a home game. It was the first home game we had in a month, and it was just time, for those guys to get on the field. We play a tough schedule, and sometimes it's tough to get those guys who come to practice every day, play scout team reps, and do everything that that people don't see. Just wanted to get them to get that experience of playing on Friday night as well.
How much time did they end up getting to play?
Oh, they got the whole fourth quarter, man. And
okay,
it was good 12 minutes, you know what I mean? So
that's kind of rare, though. That's good, though, because a lot of times, like, not saying all coaches, but some coaches, when they go to put people in like that, it might be for a couple minutes, 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, that running clock at times gets them, man. Yeah. But we weren't able to do that, and it was good to see some of the young guys, a couple sophomores, get tackles for losses. We had a first year playing football. He got an interception, 30-yard return. So it was just cool, The players on the team, the coaches, they cheer for those guys. And they're just as valuable to us as the starters, and we want to see them get those reps.
Speaking of valuable and Ballard, put those two together. What did, shout out to my man LaCunta Farmer, what does a person like him mean to you as a coach and a man, and mean to Ballard?
Everything, man. That's my big brother. He was with us for 6 years, with me for 6 years, and just really honestly helped me navigate being a head coach. As a man, you're going through your 30s, having children, somebody to lean on and just talk to about fatherhood. He's a great mentor, not only to me and our coaches, but also our players. Actually was able to come out this week and speak to the team, and it was just good to have him back around. He's off doing different things now, but his legacy in our hallways at school, his legacy on our football team, it goes on forever. He always talks about winning forever, and So we just, like I said, I'm grateful to be able to build that relationship with him over the last few years, and it extends beyond football.
No, it definitely does. That's why I always tell people, like when I talk to people, like it's more than football. Football is just the basis, but at the end of the day, like it's more than football. Like now, you say you're a father. You got what, 4 kids?
I've got 2 kids, 2 boys, and I've got 3 stepsons. So I've got 5 boys at home.
I feel sorry for your wife. That's a soldier. That's a lot.
Yeah, she does a phenomenal job managing a family.
So how do you incorporate? You're married. You got 5 kids, and then y'all are having an historical season. How are you able to manage that and incorporate everything? Because that's a lot. A lot of people don't realize, like, we have lives outside of this.
Yeah.
How are you able to manage that? Because that's a lot.
I pray for alignment a lot. I swear, we do FCA, and every night I pray for alignment, and she does a phenomenal job. Like I said, it just, she tells me when, she's the boss, and I am blessed that, my oldest, my stepson, he plays for us, so he does a phenomenal job.
Okay, cool.
That helps our relationship, he and I. And everybody in this house, plays football. Even the 4- and 5-year-old at least play in the backyard. You know what I mean? So we're a football family. But like I said, it takes a village, and she does a great job helping managing with the kids and allowing me to game prep and do things that I need to do to get ready for the opponent. And I'm really, really grateful.
Right. I've had Eric Dick, the head coach of Holy Cross over here, I think, played 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we had got on the subject of coaches' wives. People don't realize, like, they don't ever get credit, really.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that's the conversation we had last night, after the game. Being a coach, I'm like, you want more and you have expectations for your team. And what do they always say? Take the wins. And, me being me, I maybe wasn't as happy as I probably should have been. And I got home and she was like, hey, you should have been happier. You know what I mean? So immediately, I took a shower and smiled. Yeah, all right, we won the district championship, take it. And you need that. You need that balance. And not just her, all the coaches' wives. Coaching takes a lot of time away from your family. There's late nights we get home. Yeah. Even when we're home at times, we're not present. You know what I mean? Studying film. And like I said, I really do appreciate Jennifer just for, like I said, bringing me balance, man, and just allowing me to chase my dream and pursue goals that I have.
You know, so like to bounce off that, that's like you finally get to see like what I'm building here and what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to do everything from my house.
Yeah. It's a nice setup, man. You do a phenomenal job.
I might be busy, but I'm always going to be at home.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, because whenever I first started, just like whenever you first started coaching, there wasn't no balance.
Right.
You know, so you got to find that common ground and threshold thread of being able to find the balance.
That's a learned skill too. Like it's taking me a long
time.
No, it is, bro. It ain't, you know.
It ain't easy.
I think young guys see that, man, and want to be head coaches and don't understand that, and you get into it, and it's tough. You know what I'm saying? Or just anything in life, man. You're pursuing it, and if you're engulfed in it, man, you got to make sacrifices, and you need a strong person standing by your side who's going to help support you. And so, you know, you found it, I found it, and that's phenomenal.
Definitely. So let's talk about this historical season that you guys are having now at Ballard. It's been, 13 years since you all were able to beat Mel. And how long was it that you all were able to beat Trinity?
A long time.
At least 20 years, right?
Since 95. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I used to tell people I'm the luckiest guy in the state, man. I get to play those guys twice a year. You know what I mean? And I mean it. You know, we've never run from that challenge. They're a phenomenal program, well coached, got every bell and whistle over there that you can imagine. And, you know, just the opportunity to go in there and win at Marshall Stadium. And, you know, I was telling the guys before the game, it's like a basketball player. You got to see that shot go in. Once that first shot goes in, man, now you know you can score and you can do things.
Definitely.
And, just happy for our kids. You know, like I said the other day in the interview, you know, the kids on our roster are kids who wanted to come to Ballard, who you know, didn't run essentially from playing a tough schedule. Not saying other kids did, but, you know, these guys understood what it took and what it was going to be. It was an uphill climb. And, again, for them, we had a pep rally yesterday. For them to just get that recognition for homecoming, man, it's phenomenal. But on the same note, we've got a lot more football left to play. You know? So we're going to continue to push the threshold and move forward.
So y'all got at least, 2 regular season games left before the playoffs, correct?
Indeed, yeah. We're at Scott County next week, and then we'll come back versus North Hardin for senior night, which are 2 very talented teams. So we still got a lot left to do. Definitely.
So I want to talk about y'all beating Mel, and then I want to get into Trinity and other things.
Yeah.
So, you know, beating Mel is the first time in 13 years.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I've encountered with what I do is people constantly say, and I'm just using Ballard as an example, people constantly say, oh, well, they're not what they once were. It don't matter. People don't understand how hard it is to beat teams that you just can never beat.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
When did you know that you all had a legit shot in the middle of the game against Mel? Like, holy shit, whatever.
Yeah,
you know, we could actually win it.
Yeah.
What point in time during that game did you know, or did it first, cross your mind that you had a legit shot of beating Mel?
Just the way we were playing, you know, they came out first drive and got behind their pads and drove down the field with Sweeney. And, you know, we just defensively, we just told them, hey, guys, it's going to be a physical game, you know, and those guys, you know, defensively stepped it up, and then our offense was able to move the ball and go on a drive, and special teams played a big part. We were able to block a field goal and return it that night. And Mel's a phenomenal team. You know, people say they're down, man. Coach Wolf is a great coach. They're a great program. They've got great players. They're very talented. And they're gonna be tough in the playoffs. I can promise you that. But you know, just that night was our night. You know, and I'm not worried about all the other times we had to play them. Just that particular night, we were the better team that night, and it was an exciting night. It was again, man, so happy for our kids, and then our student body, man. To see the kids after the game in the parking lot celebrating the students, it's awesome. It's awesome, man. And like I said, it takes a village, man. It takes a community, and our school's gotten behind our players, and the kids wanted to win. Like the students wanted us to win, you know. And in that part, to be able to deliver was phenomenal.
You know, before we get into the Trinity game, when you finally tame that beast and beat a team that you can never beat, have never been able to beat in the last 13, 15 years, that's life-changing as far as for the program. That's program-changing.
Yeah.
Like, this season, in my eyes, is program-changing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if people out there can sit there and say that it isn't, they're full of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, as a man, as a coach, you know, this coaching thing comes with all types of emotion. It comes with joy, it comes with pain, it comes with doubt. And you want to get over that hump because you also, as a man, I believe in what I'm doing and my coaching staff is doing to help our players.
Right.
And you just like I said, we've been able to compete and pretty much play with everybody in the state, minus 3 or 4 teams. We just had to be able to knock on the door and be able to compete with those guys. And this year we've been able to do that. And the kids believe it. They believe the message since we started back in January. And again, like I said, seeing that shot go in has really just changed the trajectory of our season.
It definitely has. So I want to talk about Trinity before we get into the other subjects. What was it like? Because, like you were saying off camera before we started talking, even if Trinity's having a major down here or whatever, teams like Trinity, it's just like Mel. They're never easy to beat.
Right.
Because of how they're such a well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
Year in, year out. How they do things. What was it like winning at Marshall? Because Marshall's one of them stadiums.
It's tough, man. It's a tough place to play, man, and a lot of people don't play there. And like I said, we've played there an abundance of times over the last 6 years, man. And just to be able to go in there and get a victory, it was phenomenal. We go over there so much, man. The guys that let us in the locker room, I know them by first name.
Right.
The guys at the gate, at Trinity, you know them by first name. But we talked about it as a team, going into that game that week, hey guys, we know how to travel. We know what the locker room's going to look like pregame. We know how the pregame warm-up's going to feel, like all of that. The only thing we didn't know was how it felt to win there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was the feeling. And it's a short bus ride from Ballard to Trinity. And so at halftime, I just told them, hey, I've given this next time, we'll get them next time speech so many times, man. And I just told them, I said, I don't have it this time. I don't have that speech no more.
I like that.
It's
a little rough, Rob, but it's real.
It's honest, man. And I, hey, when we sit in that locker room or any locker room, I think about the players who have come before, and it is, this is a culmination of things. This is a culmination of the coaches we had, Coach Farmer being on our staff, the players who have come through this program and just believed in the vision of where we were trying to take it. Beating Trinity was phenomenal, and but we've been working on that for a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So. But it was an amazing night. Again, so happy for our players. And ultimately, it helped us reach our goal, which was winning the district championship and putting ourselves in the driver's seat for the playoffs, having home field advantage. That was a major kick.
Definitely so. You guys right now are currently 7-1, could potentially be 9-1, district champs, and be 2 perennial, nonstop, year in, year out powerhouses in Mel and Trinity. Like, again, that's why I look at it as an historical season,
right.
And it's program changing.
Yeah.
Like, you can look back on this year. Like, if you ever thought of having, like, anybody in general, if they ever thought of having a hard time of getting a kid or having coaches from college come look at the program, all you got to do is have a season like this.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing it.
Yeah, we're having good success. Now, I laugh. You said we're 7-1. I said we want to know 7 times. That's what I would say.
Well, now
that's coach speak, right?
I mean, but now that overall 7-1, but
yeah.
each week is different. Once it gets to like the 5th or 6th week, it gets more serious for playoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so saying 1-0, it's 7 times. It's,
I'm
it's factual. No, but I mean, you're being truthful though.
Yeah,
that is coach talk, and a lot of coaches out there would agree to that. Talk.
Yeah.
What was it like preparing this year? Because this is a special group of kids, a special staff.
Yeah.
How hard was it to prepare for this season for you guys?
Oh man, honestly, this team is a little bit different. Man, first I want to say shout out our coaching staff. Our coaching staff does a phenomenal job. We've got great camaraderie. It's a brotherhood. I didn't know how it would look. Coach Farmer left, and then we were moving pieces around, and he did a great job for us. And then, Coach Little is our offensive coordinator. He does a phenomenal job, and Coach Berry does a great job with our defensive line, and Coach Jackson. We've got Coach Mack, who's been with me for 7 years. He's our DB coach, and Coach Foster, receivers, Coach Lex. She's a wide receiver coach. I'm trying to thank Coach Hickman, running back coach. So they've done a phenomenal job. We went to camp at Kentucky Wesleyan this year, and at the end of the night, man, every night the coaches would just hang out, downstairs in the foyer and just talk. Coach King, he's joined our staff.
Okay.
And it's just been such a good staff, and the kids feel that energy.
Right.
And then also too, a lot of those kids who are seniors, they've been in our program. Some of them were ball boys. I spoke earlier about my stepson being on the team as well. And then Jamarcus Frank, Jaden Minkins, they've been with us. They took the extra year. They've been with us 5 years. Same thing with Tristan Hawkins. So it's a family, man. Like, as if I've ever coached a team or been a part of a team that was the closest thing to family, this is it. And the transparency is there. We're honest. I listen to the players. If they tell me they feel a certain way,
major.
like I have to, and I meet them halfway. And the players do a great job at running the team. I always tell them great teams are player led. And so, man, it's just been a joyous time, and I couldn't be more happy as an individual for them, for the players. But to get back to your question, you asked me, it wasn't hard because the kids were bought in from day one. From January 1st. A lot of people
don't realize when kids are bought in, it makes your job as a coach easier.
Oh man, it does, man, and they want to win. And I said this the other day. Our kids want to win just as bad as the kids at Trinity, Manual, and Male. And it was just like I said, we had to get over that hump, and they did everything we asked them to. They've studied the plays, they've been in their huddle, they've run the extra sprints, they've stayed after practice and got the extra reps. And like me, as a man, you want to see your hard work pay off.
Definitely.
And they're starting to see that, and you just want more for them. I want the world for these kids, man. Like I tell them all the time, no more than I want for my own personal kids. I want the world for you all, so you understand hard work does pay off.
It definitely does. So I want to touch base on your stepson playing on the team. How, as a parent and a father figure in your stepson's life, is it hard, or was it hard at first, like differentiating the parent from the coach? Because that's a subject that, honestly, man,
a lot of people don't understand. Yeah,
but that subject doesn't get talked about enough. So I want to touch on that.
Yeah.
Was it hard at first? And because it has to be.
It's different. Here's where I'm blessed.
Because you're dad, but at the same time you're coach.
Yeah. I'm not the only coach who has a son on the team.
Okay, cool.
Actually, we have, Coach Farmer's with us. I coach 2 of his sons. Coach Jackson, his son Lennox is on the team. Coach Hickman, his son Santana. So being able to have those conversations, and here's the crazy part is those kids had to earn their reps. They didn't play because they was coaches' kids. They had to prove that they can get on the field. And the other players saw that. We don't treat our kids differently because they're on the team.
A lot of coaches don't.
We don't do that, man. Best player plays. It is different at home. It's kind of cool because at home I can get home and say, hey, let's watch film. We kind of have our routines and stuff as well. But man, at the end of the day, I just want, not only for my own child, I want him to have success as much as I want the next player to have success. And there's no envy or animosity amongst the players. Them kids know, man. They can call on me. They can call on any coach on our staff. It don't matter whose kid is what. Like they all my kids. You know what I mean? The way I see it, I love them all the same.
Definitely.
Nah, man. But it's actually, to have this special season with this senior class has been phenomenal because I've known these kids for so long. So and they're doing very well. Really proud of them.
No, they definitely are. They definitely are. How are the kids feeling knowing that they are the cause of this historical season now? It's not just them, it's everybody, coaches and players that came prior and previously. Like they gotta feel like
they're happy.
Cloud 9.
Yeah, they are. Like I said, we did a pep rally yesterday. It was the first pep rally we had at school in 3 years because of COVID and everything. And at Ballard, we were able to honor our softball team. They just won a state championship. We had members of our football team who ran track who won a state championship as well. And, we've got all types of sports excel. And we talk about, I know our mantra is excellence in academics, arts, and athletics. And to see that at school and see the student body, man, it was cool, and what they say, you always want to be able to give somebody the roses while they can smell them.
Definitely.
Now, don't get me wrong. We still got more to do. We still got more games to play. But again, to see the smiles on their faces, tears of joy, man. It's just a great feeling, So just really happy for them. Like I said, I'm the I keep everybody level here. We talk about staying right here, not being too high, not being too low. I tell them all the time, you're not as good as your best win, you're not as bad as your worst loss. We just want to stay right here in the middle and just try to consistently compete.
Definitely. What kids have stood out to you the most this year from your school?
Oh man, well, we'll start with just our linebacker play. Jamarcus Frank is the leader of our defense. He does a phenomenal job. He makes sure he lines us up. Gavin Willis does a great job for us. And then Von Rudolph. Those three linebackers have done a great job just taking the coaching. Coach King, Coach Smith have done a phenomenal job just making sure they understand how to use their hands. One of the bigger emphasis we put on going into the season was our defensive line play. Coach Berry's done a phenomenal job with those guys. We got Brandon Edwards, Cannon Weish, Caden Lewis, just on how Quadier Atkinson, I want to make sure I honor him too. But just how they use their hand play, all right? And just being able to control the line of scrimmage. And I think that's been the bigger difference for us in those big games is that we were able to hold the line of scrimmage, right. You know what I mean? And then on our back end, man, we've got Jaden Minkins, Lennox Jackson, Montel Campbell's come on and had a strong junior season, and then Cam Horton playing the corner spot. They've done phenomenal, and then those guys will turn around and play offense and play special teams for us and all of that. So really proud of those guys. We've got a fleet of running backs, man, and then up front, offensive line, Brian Faith and Ricky Wilson and Christian Clark and Logan Russell, man, just all of them, man. They've done a great job.
So I want to touch base on the Manual game. We spoke about it a little bit previously off record. The importance of that game. It wasn't just the fact that y'all were undefeated. It's the fact that two African American head coaches met in a game where both y'all were undefeated. Yeah. That's not common.
And 6A.
Right. Yeah. That's not common.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel to be able to be a part of something that's monumental and historic?
Proud, man. Very proud. And we were talking off camera, man, I got nothing but love for Coach Stoner. I was happy that we were able to, because it's a rivalry, man. He wants to win. I want to win too. But we were able to put that aside and just come out and appreciate the moment. That might be a moment that doesn't happen again in his career, my career at all. So appreciate that. Obviously would have liked to win the game, what I mean? But at the end of the day, respect, and he's doing a phenomenal job this season with his team, and I think that's the team maybe we'll see again in the playoffs.
Definitely will. Something like that doesn't happen often, and it should more. But that just comes opportunities. We ain't getting that. So we already know. What do you see yourself doing what would you see yourself doing if you weren't coaching football?
Oh man.
I try to incorporate stuff other than football.
Yeah, no, that's tough, man. I don't know. Wife would tell you I like to be in charge. She says that all the time. I guess that comes with my football coach personality. I don't know, man. Maybe sales or something. I love coaching football, man. It saved my life. It's given me a family, essentially, that I didn't have. When I first got into coaching, that brotherhood amongst the coaches that we have on our staff. So that's a tough question to answer, man. I have no clue. Man. I just love coaching.
You've been involved with football for so long.
Oh, my whole life, man. It's I tell the players this. For me, since I was 6 years old, I've known every September 1st it was football season. You know what I mean? I remember going to college and graduating, and you play football. You go through high school, you play through college, and I think a lot of people, you want to get away from it. You're so beat up and tired of it. Your schedule's been like this. You're programmed to have these things. And I remember I was working at Enterprise, man, after college, and Fern Creek was playing somebody. Somehow I was in the neighborhood, and I just pulled up to the game, and I'm standing on the fence, and I'm like, I'm on the wrong side of the fence. I'm used to being on that side, man. And then from there, just kind of kicked off getting back into it and coaching and stuff like that. And it's been a great run, man.
When did you first get back into coaching?
Oh, goodness.
Where'd you first start coaching?
My first coaching job was I was a freshman coach for Coach Lucas over at Manual. Okay. That was my very first coaching job, yep. And then from there, I was with him 5 years and coached at a few other places, and then was able to go to Ballard as the defensive coordinator. And I was under Mike Copley. He was the head coach there for a year, and he left and took a job in Tennessee, and was able to interview with Dr. Edelman and Chris Kenny for the job and got the job. And like I was telling you, it's crazy how you grow on the job. It's been, I've been there 7 years, 6 years as the head coach, and I was 30 years old with no kids, and here I am now, 37 with 5. You know what I mean? So life comes at you fast, you know, but
does.
again, just to be able to handle that and mature as a man has forced me to grow up, you know what I mean? And God's blessed me, man, and I couldn't be more grateful to be in the position I'm in.
Definitely. So I want to touch base on the historical part. You know, very few times, more often than not, there's always African American head coaches out there in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
But like typically, they don't. And I'm not trying to say that.
I know. I got you.
Don't get what they should get. Don't
Right.
get what they deserve.
Right.
The only time until this year, you know, with what you and Stoner were able to do at that game, Ty.
Yeah.
And before Ty, who?
Yeah.
Name it.
Yeah. Let me say, rest in peace, Ty, too, man. I miss that
Thank
dude,
you.
man. God, man, that dude, you talk about a
I
mentor
cried like a baby.
to a lot of
cried like
people,
a
man.
baby.
To a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, I got a chance to get to know him when we were starting to, he was focusing on the Minority Coaches Association right before he passed, and being able to get on there and have meetings with him. And, you know, you get around Ty, you wanted to pick his brain. You know, I always wanted to pick his brain and ask him questions, man.
Definitely.
And, I can tell you a quick funny Ty story, man. We were playing, I think my first year coaching, we were playing DeSales. It was a JV game or something like that, and I'm calling plays over, and I look over and Ty's calling plays. I'm like, oh man, I gotta get this dude. Man, Ty beat my head in, man. Like, I mean, he whipped my tail, and after the game, I just remember looking at him, shaking his hand, and going, man, there's levels to this, ain't? He's like, big dog, I've been doing this a long time. You know what I mean? And respect. You know, here I am, a first-year coach, man, and we would laugh about that later. And again, man, he's just, like you were talking about getting the respect, you know, he deserves all the respect that he gets, man. And we definitely miss him as a community. He had a huge impact on all of us, man. Definitely rest in peace to the legend.
But you know, back to what I was saying. So it's like it's cool to finally see, because other than Ty, prior to what you and Stoner did that game, where's it at?
Yeah.
Shout out to Dancer for winning it back 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so other than that,
Dance is doing a phenomenal job.
Other than that, win.
Yeah.
I can't think of it.
No, I can't. You know, and like I said, I got a chance
to
coach Lucas, and you know, these guys are mentors, man. And football is just one thing that's beautiful about football is it transcends color lines, man. You know, like I tell the kids all the time, I don't care if you're a boy, girl, I don't care if you're an avatar. If you can play ball, you can play ball. But you know what I mean. But you know, just again, like, you know, be able to see guys that look like me get the recognition. That's awesome too. You know,
it definitely is. And it's so like, and when the young student athletes see that, it gives them hope.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's
another reason why that night between Ballard and Manuel and you and Stoner was so monumental from my standpoint. It gets student athletes out there hope.
Right.
Lets them know that they can do it.
Right.
They have a chance to do it. Whereas previously they never had that.
Might not see it. And sometimes, what do they say? Representation matters.
Yep.
You know, you need to see yourself in that role, in that position, and know that you can do that. So, again, happy to be a part of that history. You know, just as much as I'm happy to be a part of what we're doing with our season. And it's just, again, like I said, God's blessed me, God's blessed my family, God's blessed our team, and it's just been phenomenal, man.
So you being the head coach and being a former defensive guy, like, how in tuned are you with the defense, or do you say, you know what, I'm gonna let my guys do their job because that's why they're here?
Right. No,
because a lot of head coaches sometimes have a hard time of differentiating that.
Yeah, well, I've struggled with that too. No, I call it defense, but I get it. I mean, when I say I call it, it's me, it's Coach Barry, it's Coach King has an input on it, Coach Jackson has an input on it, Coach Mack has an input on it. So it's collective. Like, we go into the game on Fridays knowing what we want to do. I tell them all the time, we're gonna measure 4 times and cut once. You know what I mean? So it takes a village, you know. And I tell my coaches, you know, the plays don't care who call them. The plays don't care. They don't care who runs them. You know, at the end of the day, they just care about being executed. You know, so that's the thing. You know, the egos are checked at the door in our coach's office, and we just want to go out there and win. You know, at the end of the day, and that's just how our kids play. So our defense has done a great job just taking on personality and just playing physical and playing downhill. I'm really proud of it.